White is an issue, all right? So, let's start with dribble, 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 shoot. Dribble, 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 dribble. Dribble, dribble, shoot. Where the ball goes to die. And I'm talking about Kelsey Mitchell. Now, guys, in the offseason, when she was a free agent, I kept saying, I've said this, you've heard me say it, she is a dynamic scorer.
Kelsey Mitchell's reputation as a dynamic individual scorer has never been in question. What has become increasingly documented through game footage and fan-compiled clips is what happens to ball movement the moment the ball reaches her hands. Drive attempts, isolation possessions, and long dribble sequences that end in turnovers or low percentage shots have become a defining pattern. One particular sequence, tracked and counted by observers, saw Mitchell dribble 13 consecutive times before turning the ball over. No pass was attempted.
Score. But that is where it begins and ends with Kelsey Mitchell. If she gets her hand on the ball, that is where the ball goes to die. And here's the problem. Bring up Stephanie White again. Stephanie White believes this player is the best player on her team when she does not play any defense. Well, Caitlin Clark proved the other night she's capable of playing some defense. Kelsey Mitchell does not play any defense.
Clark was visibly open during multiple of these possessions. The ball did not find her. When Clark does give up possession and move to the perimeter, the offense rarely cycles back to her. She can stand in the corner for entire half-court sets without touching the ball. Mitchell is not the only player guilty of this, but she is the most frequent and most visible example.
Defense. Kelsey Mitchell does not play any defense. She does not pass the ball. And the other day was a Christmas miracle. A Christmas miracle. She bleeped around and got a couple of rebounds. And what she won't do ever in life is pass the ball back around to Caitlin Clark. If Caitlin Clark gives up the ball after she comes down the court, it's a wrap. She'll be standing around in the corner. She could take a nap, for crying out loud.
Stephanie White's apparent belief that Mitchell is the team's best player sits at the center of the frustration. Critics point to her defensive output, or lack of it, as the clearest counter to that assessment. Clark, meanwhile, has shown she can contribute on the defensive end. The imbalance in how the two players are managed, including the fact that White has publicly addressed Clark's behavior while leaving Mitchell's shot, selection, and ball stopping unchallenged, has not gone unnoticed. For contrast, Minnesota head coach Cheryl Reeve spoke recently about how she handles Olivia Miles, the Lynx's highly touted rookie.
Take a nap, for crying out loud. And can I keep it real? Kelsey Mitchell's not the only player on this team that doesn't give Caitlin Clark the ball. Oh, I said it out loud. Yeah, I watch. The ball just not the ball just really does not come back around to Caitlin very often. If you watch. And this team, and this is what Stephanie White wants.
Reeves said she does not coach Miles on passing at all and tries to stay out of the way of her instincts, describing her court vision as a generational gift that makes teammates' jobs easier. The difference in coaching philosophy being illustrated by that clip, and the one being run in Indiana, was not subtle to anyone watching both situations. The numbers support the point further. Natasha Howard, who played under White in Indiana, was widely considered a finished product at 34 years old, before leaving 0.6 rebounds per game, shooting 64% from the field, and producing more across nearly every statistical category, compared to her final season in Indiana.
What Stephanie White wants is built around Kelsey Mitchell. I believe, and I've said it before, you've heard me say it, I don't believe Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell can coexist. I don't. Not unless Caitlin wants to be the third option on a team. I mean, if she gets lucky, she'd be the second option on this team. Because she's just not going to get the opportunities. As long as this coach.
The improvement raises obvious questions about what White's system does to players who do not fit its structure. 3 of Vanderbilt's top players chose to leave the program and sit out a season rather than continue playing for White. That context has resurfaced repeatedly among Fever observers, trying to understand the gap between what Clark is capable of and what the current system allows her to produce. The conclusion being reached by a growing number of them is that the situation in Indiana has a defined endpoint. Either the roster construction changes or the leadership does. Indiana's coaching staff had a difficult night to explain after the Fever nearly surrendered a 15-point advantage to a short-handed Washington Mystics squad, only to escape on a long three-pointer from Caitlin Clark in the closing seconds.
Opportunities. As long as this coach is here. Remember? Can you imagine? Christy Sides once said they have awakened a monster as Caitlin Clark was destroying the league in the second half of the 2024 season. Can you imagine Stephanie White ever saying that about Caitlin Clark? Oh, they've awakened a monster. No, she don't believe a monster exists there. My boy over at Keep the Vision, go subscribe.
Then, on the final possession, Sophie Cunningham caught the inbound and disregarded the designed play, which was drawn up for Mitchell, and found Clark instead. Clark knocked it down cleanly from distance to end the game. The quality of basketball leading up to that moment was poor across the board. Washington had Kiki Iriafen exit with an injury, yet still managed to outscore Indiana in both the third and fourth quarters.
Put up this video. Let's watch it. It's only a minute long.
There's no way Caitlin Clark can play with this girl, man. It just is what it is. It just is what it is, bro. Let's count how many dribbles she had before her turnover.
Real?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 dribbles and a turnover. 13 dribbles and a turnover.
Role players on the Mystics, who are not considered consistent threats, were given room to operate and made Indiana's defense look disorganized. The Fever nearly lost a game they led by double digits against an undermanned opponent. Clark's own night was uneven. She shot 40% from 3 and finished just under 50% from the field, but the box score does not capture how much of her production came from moments when she ignored the structured offense and made plays on instinct.
13 dribbles and a turnover.
We didn't even do dribble, dribble, shoot. We did dribble, 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 dribble. Nothing.
The lady, look at this. Kelsey Mitchell, she's going to miss the free throw, get the ball, and watch this. Look at this. Just dribbling in circles. Just won't pass it. I'm going to just run in here and throw it up. Dude, pass
Caitlin
the
Clark
damn
was all
ball,
out here.
Kelsey.
Her turnovers stem from the same source. She processes the game at a tempo and reads at an angle that the rest of the rosters does not always track. When teammates are in sync with her pace, the results are. When they are not, possessions break down. She also picked up at least 5 uncalled walking violations while bringing the ball up the court against no pressure, a quirk that went unaddressed.
Horrible game of basketball. Horrible game of basketball. Like, Horrible, horrible game. At least I can watch the finals now. Horrible. Horrible game. The Fever were up 15 points. They were up big. And then they just started walking the ball up the floor. They just started walking the ball up the floor. The Mystics are pathetic. Not only are they pathetic, Kiki got injured. Hopefully she's okay.
The substitution decisions in the fourth quarter attracted the sharpest criticism. With the game on the line defensively, White pulled Clark and sent in Raven Johnson, who had not appeared in the second half at all. Johnson's first action was a physical collision with Shakira Austin off the ball. Contact that went uncalled but could easily have resulted in a foul and a trip to the free throw line for Washington. The decision to use a cold player in that situation, rather than any of the active rotation, players Lexi Hall, Sophie Cunningham, Monique Billings, or Misha Hines-Allen, was difficult to justify given the stakes.
Really pathetic. Kiki got injured. Hopefully she's okay. The Fever let Georgia Amor look like a competent basketball player. There's something seriously wrong with that. This was one of the worst games I have ever. This was the worst game I've watched Fever play. They almost lost to a team trying to lose while up 15 points. Like, they almost lost. Shout out Cody McMahon. Shout out Cody freaking McMahon for what the fuck is she trying to do here? She's not even close to being on time. And, of course,
Earlier in the fourth, pairing Derica Hamby and Tyra Harris on the floor together, while Kelsey Mitchell rested, produced a negative plus-minus stretch that extended Washington's run. The argument being reinforced by games like this one is straightforward. Clark's best basketball happens when the system gets out of her way. The moments where she improvised, pushed pace, created off the dribble, or fired off rhythm shots were the moments. Indiana looked dangerous. The moments where the half-court structure reasserted itself were the moments this is Mystics narrowed the gap.
she's not even close to being on time. And, of course, it has to be Cody. It has to be Cody. Of all people she hits her first career game winner on, it's fucking Cody McMahon. That is the best. That is the best person for Caitlin to hit the game winner on. Right in her face. If you guys don't know, Cody McMahon and Caitlin Clark fucking hate each other. If you guys don't know, they hate each other. There's no friendship there. They fucking despise each other from college. Nothing but net from deep. Caitlin.
Stephanie White has shown little inclination to adjust the offense around what Clark does naturally. And that tension was visible all night. Monique Billings ended with a plus 12 differential, though the number reflects lineup timing more than personal impact. The Fever won 6-5 on the season. The margin of the victory, the opponent's circumstances, and the manner in which it was secured leave little room for confidence about what Indiana looks like in harder matchups.
From college. Nothing but net from deep. Caitlin Clark in a terrible game. Shot 40% from the three, was one off shooting 50% from the field. She 1 of 3 from the line, nearly missed 2 free throws. She missed 2 free throws, which could have won them the game. Then made a game-winning, near game-winning assist, and then hit the game winner. A absolutely awful game. From start to finish, everything good that Caitlin Clark did was Caitlin Clark going rogue. It was Caitlin Clark going rogue and deciding, I'm not fuck the system, I'm just going and doing my thing. And she hit some shots early, she missed some shots early. The Fever play the worst brand of basketball. Lexi Hall made an idiotic foul on Sonia Citron. Dugalich came in. At one stage, we were making Lauren Best look competent. It was bad. It was bad. The referees did not do a good job for Caitlin. Apparently, this is not a reckless closeout. It was a reckless closeout, and she got cleaned out of it in the air. There's no way the play was for the Caitlin Clark shot either. That play was for Kelsey Mitchell. Sophie Cunningham said, fuck that, I'm giving the ball to Caitlin. Sophie Cunningham said, fuck that, I'm giving the ball to Caitlin. Like, Sophie Cunningham said it. I'm giving the ball to Caitlin. And shout out Sophie. Shout out Sophie for finding you're the only player on this team who's hit a game winner in 3 seasons. Oh, sorry, no. Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin have both hit game tying shots. I'm pretty sure that's the first game winner we've seen. What a performance. Mo Billings plus 12 because she was just on the floor at the right times. Nearly the worst. This was the worst coaching performance I have seen from Stephanie White. This was the worst coaching performance I've seen from Steph White this year. And I'm going to be real. I'll use the word pathetic. Like, why were Damiris Dantas and Ty Harris in the game together in the fourth quarter with Maisha Hines Allen?